So I get to talk to you guys today about assurance and the assurance experience and what we are doing with assurance and the direction that we are taking it. And all of the things that you saw today, the AIRM, talking about Wi-Fi 7, understanding what's going on with our infrastructure devices, being able to see the ports, the stuff that Dave is talking about. We here at Cisco, what we are doing is we are focusing all of that into the digital experience, right? Because in a digital world, your customers, your end users, our partners, all of these individuals are worried about their end users' experience, right? We have to make sure that they have a positive experience when they're utilizing our network. So what is that? So what we did was we had many iterations of conversations with customers and partners to understand what was important and what mattered to them. And we took that and looked at how can we take the digital experience and put that into a solution, put that into a strategy and an approach for us to be able to give that experience that our customers, and our partners are looking for. And we're doing that with what we call digital experience assurance, and that is encompassing all of the different assurance tools that we do have at Cisco, our Meraki Assurance, Catalyst Assurance, ThousandEyes, all of that. And what I'm really excited to show today is that we are going to walk through and show the integration with Meraki Dashboard and ThousandEyes, and the Splunk integration, giving us additional insight so that we can see that beyond what is in the network and understanding that critical insight that is important. And so we do that by being able to look at and pull in all of those tools, being able to look at ThousandEyes, being able to look at Meraki and all of the telemetry data that we have, and take that and look from the mobile device to the cloud application to be able to determine if it's an internet issue, if it's a LAN issue, an infrastructure issue, client device issue, and be able to use the data that we have that's feeding our different data lakes and feeding our different clouds, utilizing AI algorithms, utilizing closed loop operations to be able to bring together a full experience across the different tools and the different platforms that we have. And so we're doing that by, again, putting the user experience at the core of what we do because it is so critical. And it's a shift in direction and change for us to be able to take that data, feed it in, and be able to give, again, that insight that's needed for clients, for network devices, for our applications. And user experience is everything, right? Anyone, any of our delegates or anyone online, has anyone ever had a scenario where a customer said, well, I don't care if my networks or my users aren't happy on the network? Has anyone ever experienced that, right?
All the time.
Like every CEO who was talking to said, oh, it doesn't matter if I can connect or not, right? That's why what we are doing is so important to us here at Cisco, being able to take that data and feed it in and be able to give an experience and tools to remediate, to predict. We're going to be looking at issue detection. We are going to be looking at being able to predict traffic on the network, alerting to make sure that nothing is missed as we go through that. And so everything we do and everything that you're going to see from the assurance perspective is this push to better an experience. So we are introducing our new assurance overview. And right now it is in private beta. And what we are really excited about our assurance overview, it is aggregating the data and bringing it all into one place to give our customers and our users that one-stop shop to look into and remediate and identify problems on the network, right? So we look at, now we have our overall health score, and we're going to talk about how we define that and the metrics and the things that go into that. But this is going to be a left nav item in Meraki Dashboard, which we are very excited about, to make it very simple to, as soon as you log in, click on that navigation into the assurance overview and be able to identify very quickly what's happening in your network, right? And then in addition, being able to drill in and determine, do I have a wireless problem? Is it a LAN issue? Am I having DHCP issues, right? So understanding what that looks like.
Quick question.
Yes.
So does it require full stack Meraki, or will it work like, let's say, there's always a mixture a lot of times.
It doesn't require full stack Meraki. You do have to have Meraki product, Meraki product to be able to do it. Yes, okay. But no, it does not require full stack for utilizing the assurance overview.
Cool.
And so in addition to the client devices, you're going to be able to look at your infrastructure devices, switching devices, your MX, your MS appliances, anything that you have connecting on the network. And Stephen, or in just a little bit, is going to walk you through all of these different pieces together and show the demo and how everything is integrating into our assurance overview. And so then one of the things, so looking here, overall network score and insights. You'll be able to see every day that bar. I can't like the
Gauge,
word.
it's a gauge.
Wording is hard, you guys, right? The arc, you'll be able to identify really quickly red, green, yellow, what the issue is, right? In addition, you'll be able to look at trends and anomalies on your network. You'll be able to see how it's changing, what is impacted. For example, let's say you had a config change and now all of a sudden it's gone to crap. So you'll be able to see that and be able to identify and pinpoint and look at timing, be able to look at when it occurred, where it's occurring, so that you can identify, oh, okay, maybe I need to revert back to my old config because this one didn't work. And then finally, looking at previous time periods. So you can compare hourly, you can compare day, you can compare week, and be able to see where was I previously to where I am today and what has changed and that impact, right? And so how do we define what goes into that network health score? So we look at the client experience. Are the clients able to do what they're supposed to do? Are they able to connect to the network? Are they able to log in and get an IP address? Are they able to get and function and authenticate into the network? And then we look at network devices. Are our infrastructure devices performing the way they need to? Are our infrastructures, are we having an issue? Do we need to look at firmware upgrades? What has changed or what is occurring during that time? And then let's look at LAN, WAN, VPN issues. Let's look at the infrastructure, the actual connectivity piece of it, right? And all of these are different components that are going into that overall health score calculation. And then finally, we look at the application, right? Because it's not complete unless we can have that true end-to-end visibility, which is that is where we're going, right? And so understanding that end-to-end visibility, that is what gives our customers an advantage to be able to see that critical insight that they need to make edits to optimize network or to ensure that positive experience. So one of the things that I wanted to offer, and we are, all of the customers, anyone who's listening today, so even if you're live streaming, anyone who views it later, anyone can sign up for the private beta and join and participate. And so we would love to have you. And if the QR code, I do believe works, I've double checked it, but just in case, also if you decide you don't want to use a QR code, please feel free to reach out to me on Twitter or email me or smoke signal or yes, Roel.
To use Assurance Overview, is it something that just gets enabled on the dashboard, or do you have to upgrade firmware for all your
You don't have to upgrade it. It is enabled. So that's one of the reasons why it's private beta. So we have to physically enable that for you. So when you go in, you'll give us your org ID. We'll be able to determine and then enable it onto yours.
And the screenshot you showed, it showed like a network overview. Would you, if you've got multiple sites, is there a dashboard to see all of them?
We are working, keep in mind private beta and phases, right? So yes, that is the goal and that is where we're going. All right. So in addition to the assurance overview, you're also going to see new health tabs for wireless and for switching. And this is where you're going to be able to see PoE negotiation failures, or you'll be able to determine. So this, keep in mind, it's not wireless, or it's not our client devices. These are the infrastructure devices that we're looking at for the health, right? To be able to identify CPU usage, PoE issues, any of those. And so again, this will be available, and I don't know if you guys can see, so one of the things, because we're talking about a lot of future things today, in the top right-hand corner, you're gonna see target dates. And keep in mind when it says CY, calendar year 24, so those is where we're aiming for release of these, to understand. So
guaranteed, written in stone, we'll deliver.
Sam guaranteed it, is all I'm saying. I did not. No, just kidding. So a lot of these things, some of these things aren't in existence, but one of the things that we want to make sure you understand and our customers and our partners understand is the investment into the tools that you need to have that end-to-end visibility, right? And where we're going. And infrastructure tabs to be able to identify and see what's going on with those devices is critical as a part of that insight that all of us need to manage our networks. In addition, we also have a new org alerts page. And what this does is it shows any alert. So this is when you look at any alert that's happening on your network, right? So if you are having client impacted issues, if you are having infrastructure issues, what trends and analytics are happening on your network? Are there application problems? Are you getting notifications about that? Centralized management of alerts via any communication medium you like, whether it's email, whether it's text, you can enable that. You can have it enabled into the dashboard. And then being able to scale that across all of the networks. So Roel, to your point, to be able to determine multiple orgs, right? Yes, all of that will be a part of it. And so in addition, when you log into your alerting system, it's going to allow you to click directly into the issue. And then it's going to tell you, I have a wireless problem. These are the clients that are impacted and the number of clients that are being impacted. And in addition, so it's not going to just alert you when things are going wrong. It's going to do proactive alerts, and it's going to give thresholds to say, hey, here's something you may need to look at. Here's something you should probably check out. Here's something that could potentially be a problem. Hey, have you considered this? So in addition, you're going to get that proactive piece that we need to help make our job more efficient for us, right? And then in addition, looking at root cause analysis and being able to determine what is actually the problem with a guided workflow to be able to accomplish that. And in addition, you're going to see here in just a second, but suggested remediation for the problem that you're having, depending on what the issue is, right? And so further in-depth and analysis into the root cause of the issues that are occurring.
Quick question on alerting.
Yes.
And I apologize about that. It may be already available. Is there an availability with integrations like with Autotask or Logic Monitor or ServiceNow or something like that for alerting? Or
Stand by.
Not yet.
okay.
Hopefully.
All right, so this is one of the things that I think is really, really neat. So when you are in here and you're in your alerting tab and you're able to identify and you look in, all right, so for example, I have a VLAN mismatch here. So I click in to see what's going on with my VLAN. In details, allowed VLANs mismatched, found, edit the switch ports. So it's giving you some suggested remediation. In addition, it's showing you the port issues that you've got. So it's giving you that snapshot, and so you don't have to go anywhere else to be able to look at the problems that you're having. You can go directly from the alerts page into being able to identify what the issue is.
But these alerts at least can go in the email though, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely. And again, going back to a central repository of information, right? Central dashboards. Alerts now are not on every page. They're in one location for you to be able to see all of the alerts. So that way you don't have to go hunt and peck for different alerts or different things that could potentially be wrong. Really trying to build efficiencies into workflows and our troubleshooting process to be able to make it very simple for everybody. So hearing that, any thoughts, feedback, what alerts? Helpful? I'm curious.
Are these pre-canned alert types, or could I say
Right now,
generate-
yes.
Okay.
Right now, yes. So one of the things that we are going to be working on is thresholds and being able, like everyone be able to set their own thresholds and add like their own different causes, different pieces. So yes, customization is coming, just not phase one.
Okay.
I mean, webhook is the important thing, right?
Right.
Because that's what gets it out into everybody else's system. So I mean, that's the sort of the catch-all at the bottom. So
Correct.
that's
Yes. All right. Also, alert hubs. Alert is only one click away always for you into the dashboard. So top right-hand corner, when you log in, that little notification, click on it always. You'll never have to hunt and peck. Very, very simple navigation for it. So that's, again, one of the things that we're trying to do with Assurance is simplify that across the dashboard, because now with the left nav Assurance overview and alerts always one click away, it's a lot more efficient, taking advantage that way. All right, so that being said, oh, yes, I forgot I had an animation. All right, and with that, I'm actually going to turn it over to Stephen, who's going to talk to us about ThousandEyes, the additional insight that we get with ThousandEyes, the work that we're doing with in integrating both Meraki into ThousandEyes and ThousandEyes into Meraki, and then talk about Splunk as well and some of that additional insight and predictive analytics that we can look at. And with that, Stephen.
Thanks, Tauni. Can you back it up one slide?
I can.
And thanks, and thanks everybody. I appreciate the opportunity to present. Steve Orr, distinguished engineer at Cisco. If I speak really fast today, I apologize. I'll speak for Jerome as well. He's in Warsaw, coming off of IEEE, and I participated in IEEE on East Coast time, so I've been up since 2 a.m. So I will try to slow down a little bit. So why am I here? I'm here to talk about what we're doing with the cool things between not just our Meraki dashboard and ThousandEyes, but Cisco and ThousandEyes in general. So we're really transforming how we're looking at not just the end user, but the network itself and the applications. So what's really cool on this is we're integrating ThousandEyes very tightly with a lot of our products now. So why is this interesting in the wireless world, right? So I'm not sure if everybody's aware on how we've integrated ThousandEyes as a client into our laptops, desktops, so we can actually pull Wi-Fi information in off those clients and then bring that intelligence back into the network. So we get a lot of really good information, not just from the client itself, but then across the entire path all the way through into AWS and other cloud providers to bring that information back. And it really feeds into what Tauni was talking about before. On the Meraki side, it's how do we take this intelligence that we're getting from ThousandEyes, as they kind of coin it, the mean time to innocence, right? How do I make sure it's not the wireless network, it's not the WAN, it's not the LAN, and really pinpoint that problem? This is what we're really dumping into the coffee view, as Tauni called it. So Tauni, next slide, please. So, or next two slides, we're good with that too. The issues at hand, right? And we'll go over this in the demo that we pulled together. We're actually able to take the application and server alerts that we get through ThousandEyes monitoring and populate that into the Meraki dashboard, into the overview. That way, we don't force you into a swivel chair position. We're actually able to give you one common interface to be able to look at what's going on in the network itself from a Meraki perspective, and then what's going on potentially external to the Meraki dashboard or to that Meraki network out through the internet, and even into your local clients. So next slide. And if there's any questions along the way, please don't hesitate to ask.
I got a very basic.
This is another just.
I got a very basic question. Is this like an on-prem appliance that you install, or is it a cloud-based thing, or is it both? ThousandEyes.
Awesome question. So ThousandEyes can be deployed a couple different ways. We have agents that can be deployed on desktops, laptops. We actually have an integration, which I was going to talk about in a bit, into the Meraki MX. So we can actually run a ThousandEyes agent in the MX, and then we can also integrate this into our Cat9K switches. So if they're in monitor mode on a Meraki network, or if they're on DNA Center in our traditional Catalyst mode, we can actually put containers on those boxes to actually run ThousandEyes. And we can actually install agents themselves inside a cloud provider, and we can install software-based agents anywhere on the network.
But the core ThousandEyes product is in the cloud, right?
The core ThousandEyes dashboard, where all the telemetry goes back to, is a SaaS-based cloud.
So you don't buy a ThousandEyes server.
You're buying agents.
You're buying agents, and you're hooking the.
Correct. You have agents. So like in an MX or in a Cat9K, those agents are included as part of the licensing. It's in a DNA A license, right? So you get free access to a ThousandEyes agent there. And then again, it's based on the number of agents, based on the deployment that you want to do. Good?
Yep, thank you.
Sorry, I can't see anybody's head nodding if I'm going in the right direction.
Good. Yeah.
So, all right, awesome. So one of the other things that was proposed was, as Tauni talked about, was the acquisition of Splunk that we just did. So if you want to go to the next slide, Tauni. So where does Splunk fit into this overarching observability and assurance perspective in AI ops? So from a Cisco perspective, we're taking a platform approach. And one of the things to point out is what's really cool about how we're developing things, whether it's Meraki Dashboard, Catalyst Center, or in Viptela for SD-WAN. We all have individual capabilities in there to do, whether it's telemetry, AI ops, assurance. What we're bringing in the Splunk platform for is to be able to do, I'll kind of coin a phrase for this cross-domain capability, where we're bringing in information from each of those domain controllers, and we're able to make insights across those domain controllers and those individual domains, and then even into third-party domains, whether it's all the way down to a server level or into third-party infrastructure. So again, trying to give a more holistic view from an AI ops perspective into the customer's network. So again, we'll talk about this in a minute, but just as we go into the demo, I know there was a question about kind of assurance and whether it's on-prem or cloud, or how do we handle this from a Cisco perspective, or if it was like Meraki full stack. We can actually pull in telemetry off our Catalyst products into the Meraki dashboard through cloud monitoring. So if you've got a Catalyst 9800 or a Catalyst 9K switch that's tethered to the Meraki dashboard, through cloud monitoring, you can still pull in telemetry and populate the dashboard that way as well. So
I do have a question around accessing.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
ThousandEyes. Traditionally, you just get 2 SKUs: the hardware and the license to manage that in the dashboard. Is there a separate SKU for ThousandEyes, or is that going to be included with your license?
So like with the MX and the integration for that, the license is kind of embedded in the MX. I think, and Tauni, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's in the SD-WAN or advanced security licensing.
Gotcha.
Sorry, I'm not
Yes, that's correct.
Manager. I may play one in certain scenarios, but licensing is not my forte on where we're falling. So we can come back to you guys with where the individual license fall. I know on the Catalyst switches, it's in the DNAA licenses.
Thank you.
So any other questions, or was that?
You're good.
You're good.
So Tauni, let's go ahead and kick off. It's a quick demo, but what the gist of the demo is we want to kind of show everything working together, and really what the implication of how this is the kind of Cisco 1 + 1 = 3 on all the different pieces of assurance and telemetry kind of acting together. So go ahead, Tauni, you can kick this off. So while this looks interesting, what I'll say is this is part of our Splunk AI visualization 3D graphing. While it looks like an atom, this is actually my home network. I ran this off my Meraki Catalyst combination home network to try to figure out what was going on in the network. So I'm taking telemetry from Meraki access points, my Catalyst switches, my MX umbrella, and the IP address that was there, that's my home, my work laptop. We bring all this information into the coffee view, the overview page, as what Tauni was talking about before. And we can see that in my home network at this time, I was having some challenges on some wireless clients. So I was getting a 90% health score. So trying to figure out what the health score actually meant. What I ended up doing is, I go in and I'll end up looking at the wireless clients. And inside the wireless clients, one of the things that was coming up was packet loss. So I was trying to figure out what the packet loss, looking at my high packet loss clients, I saw that one of them was my camera. And I started running tests against the vision portal for Meraki and seeing that I was getting some latency issues. So that agent was actually running on my MX, doing synthetic traffic to the Meraki vision portal, alerting me that I couldn't connect. So that's where the health score went down. So going into the alerts page, I actually see that I was getting high WAN latency that was being alerted for, and what the mitigation problems were for there. So you can actually chart this out, and I could see which MX the high latency was actually occurring on. So it wasn't able to troubleshoot, like tell me where in the network, right, the high latency was occurring. Like, was it the interface? Was it? But it was telling me it was beyond my home MX, right? So that was the key part in really trying to discern what was going on from the MX side. Now, one of the other things that we were doing here is we're also bringing traffic in from our access points. We're using Umbrella as part of our security strategy here to funnel information. So long story on this, we basically get to the point where we've got all of this information dumping into Splunk. So I did some really interesting calculations with Splunk. I was able to pull up the number of unique devices in my home network, how many were actually using random MAC addresses, which to Jerome and myself is an important stat that we've been trying to track. So I was actually able to pull that in V4, V6 addresses, and then even rogue networks. All this information is coming from our wired switches and our wireless access points. The next thing I did is, since our access points are sending information to Umbrella, I was actually able to dump this into the Splunk AI ops, and whether my wife appreciates it or not, I was able to predictively track her Facebook usage during the day, as well as Netflix usage, right? So what you can do is you can take the application information, because mine is WebEx, right? So it would just be a straight flat line across the entire day for WebEx usage. But you can actually pull this information directly from an access point, put it into Splunk or through Umbrella, and then you can do a predictive action based on the alerting. Now, I know somebody had mentioned before, like DHCP, DNS errors or tracking. I was also take the information that's coming from the Meraki MX and the APs on DNS and DHCP responses, and put that into the machine learning capabilities within inside Splunk, and I can see outliers throughout the day, and I can track those back. Finally, and I'm sorry, the one thing that we jumped through right there, I was actually also able to take all that Umbrella information coming from the access points and map that in the course of a day to the amount of traffic that was being mapped from categories in Umbrella to destinations that they were going. So you're actually able to bring all this information together. So if you want to know who's going to high-risk sites, right from within a single pane of glass, you can bring that all together. So with that, let me pause, because I know in a short amount of time, I tried to bring as much information as possible on really what we're doing from an assurance and AI ops perspective across the board with Meraki, Catalyst, and our full stack solutions. So with that, I'll pause. Questions?
Do you guys use any ML to send alerts that are actually actionable versus just thousands of alerts a day?
Yeah, so it's a great question. So yes, in as part of Splunk, we can actually use the machine learning capabilities in there to do dynamic alerts based on certain activities. And then if you have an idea of what kind of action you want to do out of that, we can actually program in certain actions. So we have the full flexibility of how Splunk works today, being able to, and we're going to get the integrations tighter and tighter as now that the acquisition of Splunk has been completed. So you'll see integrations more and more tightly.
Okay, and so that includes all the assurance stuff that we saw before gets pulled into Splunk.
That's exactly what this demo was. I was taking all of the assurance data that we have, with whether it's the APs, the switches, or the MX, and I was channeling that all into Splunk, as well as information from Umbrella. And I also had some other information that I was able to glean off a couple other devices in my network to populate it. So that's actually how this map was created. This map was actually created as a homologation of all of the data coming into my network. And there's a capability in Splunk to do this 3D map. So each one of those kind of points of light is a different device on the network spawning off different capability or different ports and protocols, which for me was kind of shocking as the chief troubleshooting officer in my house. Exactly what all the different connections going on, and what I would say is a 60 device network.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Any other questions? Sam, you're being kind to me. So
I told you I was. I'm not a bad person usually.
All right. With that, Tauni, I'll turn it back over to you.
Thanks. So one of the things to follow out and wrap up with you guys, one of the things that I wanted you to see, you talked about the betas, the different things that are coming. This is our timeline of where we're aiming for these things. Wanted you guys to see it and get excited about it, because we are really excited about the efforts and the energy that we have put into assurance and being able to integrate in all of the different tools and platforms that we have, from Umbrella to Splunk to ThousandEyes, and be able to bring that together in solutions that are actually going to be very helpful and very useful for our customers and our partners. So, and with that, again, if you want to sign up for the private beta, please feel free to reach out and ping me, and we'll get you in there and included. Yes, sir.
For a company that has been historically reluctant to share roadmap, this is pretty forward-looking and transparent. So I'm sure it does. I'm sure it does. Sorry, but this sort of insight really helps us plan what's coming for our customers. And so, kudos, right? This is a huge, huge shift.
And I think, appreciate that. And to Matt's point, we wanted you guys to see all of the different efforts and the different betas and the things that we are running together and how we are, again, trying to integrate all of these tools together, from wireless and assurance to switching to MX across full stack end-to-end, true end-to-end visibility.